Imagine two people. Person A drives a shiny new car, wears branded clothes, posts vacation photos every month. Person B drives an old car, wears simple clothes, rarely posts anything. Here's the twist. Person A is broke. Person B is wealthy. Not one-day wealthy, actually wealthy. Today, we're going to explain why looking rich is one of the most expensive habits humans have ever invented, and why real wealth often looks boring. This isn't about budgeting. This isn't about hustling. This is about human behavior, and once you see it, you'll never unsee it. The payment schedule, the interest, the pressure to keep earning just to stand still. That gap between what we see and what's actually happening, and it matters right now more than ever. Because over the last few decades, something subtle but powerful flipped. We didn't just start spending more, we started spending earlier, before the money existed, before the wealth was built. Looking rich stopped being a side effect of success. It became a requirement to feel successful at all. And that's where the cost begins, not in the price tag, in the structure underneath it. Let's slow this down. Before moving forward, let's check this first. Man, 0 subscribers? What you all are doing? Hurry up, subscribe, bro, subscribe. I don't care how you do it, just subscribe. That's all I want. Being rich is about ownership, what you control, what keeps working even when you stop. Looking rich is about visibility, what others can see, what needs constant reinforcement. Those two things used to overlap. Now they actively compete. And most people don't realize which one they're feeding. Take income. Most households earn their money the same way, a paycheck, once or twice a month. But the spending patterns don't match the income patterns anymore. Cars are financed over 6 or 7 years. Phones are upgraded annually. Homes are stretched to the maximum loan approval. Subscriptions quietly stack in the background. What looks like abundance is often just timing. Future money pulled into the present. That's not wealth. That's borrowing time from yourself. Here's the uncomfortable part. The system doesn't punish this behavior immediately. It rewards it at first. You get the car today, the house now, the lifestyle instantly. The cost shows up later, slowly, quietly, in the form of less freedom, less margin, less room to make mistakes. That's the trade most people don't realize they're making. Looking rich converts money into image. Being rich converts money into options, and options are invisible. You can't post them. You can't park them in your driveway. You can't show them off at dinner, but they change how you live. Here's a simple number that explains almost everything. If your fixed monthly expenses are high, your life becomes fragile. Fragile means one shock matters. A job loss, a medical bill, an economic slowdown. When your lifestyle depends on constant income, stability becomes an illusion. This is where the irony kicks in. The more expensive the lifestyle, the less resilient the person often is. That luxury SUV, miss a few payments and it's gone. That big house, property taxes don't care how confident you looked buying it. Meanwhile, the person driving the older car, the one you didn't notice, often has something far more valuable: slack. Slack is the ability to absorb surprises without panic, and slack is what real wealth buys first. But slack doesn't signal status, so culturally we undervalue it. We reward the appearance of progress instead. That didn't happen by accident. Advertising figured this out decades ago. They stopped selling products. They started selling timelines. Buy this now. You deserve it now. Don't wait. Don't delay. Waiting started to feel like failure. But waiting is how wealth actually forms. Compound growth doesn't announce itself. It whispers. Year 1 looks boring. Year 5 looks unimpressive. Year 10 looks inevitable. Status spending is the opposite. Year 1 feels amazing. Year 5 feels heavy. Year 10 feels locked in. Same money, opposite trajectories. Here's another quiet truth. Looking rich forces you to commit your future self. Once you adopt a high-status lifestyle, it becomes sticky. Downgrading feels like public failure. Selling the car feels like regression. Moving to a smaller place feels like loss. So people don't adjust, they double down. More hours, more stress, more dependence on income continuing exactly as planned, which it rarely does. That's why economic downturns feel so personal now. It's not just numbers on a chart, it's lifestyles colliding with reality. And the math underneath doesn't negotiate. Interest compounds whether you're comfortable or not. Bills arrive whether the image holds or not. This is where hype and reality separate. The hype says, this is what success looks like. The reality says, this is what success costs. And the cost isn't just financial, it's psychological. When your identity is tied to appearances, every comparison hurts. Every upgrade around you feels like pressure. Every pause feels dangerous. You're not just earning money anymore, you're defending an image. Real wealth doesn't need defense. It doesn't care if you repeat outfits. It doesn't care if your car is old. It doesn't care if no one notices. That indifference is the payoff. And here's the part almost no one talks about. The economy increasingly depends on people confusing the two. Growth looks better when consumption is loud. Debt looks manageable when optimism is high. Risk hides when everyone believes the story. But when enough people realize that looking rich is costing them future freedom, something shifts. Spending slows, priorities change, the illusion weakens. That's why this conversation keeps resurfacing, because the gap between appearance and reality is widening, and it raises an uncomfortable question. If wealth is quiet and status is loud, how many of the signals we chase are actually warning signs? The person who looks rich might be racing against time. The person who looks average might already own it. And if that's true, then the real question isn't, how do I look successful? It's this: how much of my future am I trading away just to look fine right now? That question doesn't have a neat answer, and it isn't meant to, because once you start asking it, the game you're playing quietly changes.